All right. So comms rack, monitor, PoE switch, recorder. We only have in a typical building, we would only have one recorder. So all of the CCTV would run back to one recorder in the main comms room. PoE switches are fine to manage everything across the levels. That's no issues at all. But yeah, NVR. So NVRs, there will only be one NVR, and it will be down in the main comms room, and it will capture all of the cameras. So in this case, there might be two because there's so many cameras. We might use a 128 or some combinations of recorders, but one NVR. Also, the racks we're not providing, and we wouldn't be putting monitors at each position. So from a CCTV perspective, all we're doing on each individual floor is capturing the PoE requirement. Same with security. We wouldn't have another security panel. We would just have door controllers. So, you only have one main hub or one main point where everything runs back to, and then everything outside of that is just built up as part of the network. So I'll scroll through and I'll explain on the drawings. So levels 15 to 19. So once again, don't need the security panel, don't need the monitor, need the PoE switch because that's going to pick up our cameras, and don't need a recorder. The expander, I believe, was for the PIRs, which we've now deleted as they're not part of this, not part of our security side of things, so we remove that. So now we have our door controllers and our PoE switches. So this is typical for every project. We only have one security panel, and unless we're specifically providing the racks, we don't have the racks. And monitors, there'll only be one monitor or a group of monitors down in the main comms room, and only the PoE switches are required. So zone expander as well. Just double check where not part of our stuff. We don't need that. So it's just the door controller and the PoE switches. Not in our scope, and I'm assuming these are running back down to another level. So we're capturing the CCTV on this level on another level in a PoE switch. Likely back to ground floor. Okay, so you've got security here. So this is where we're asking for our security stuff to go. You can see that there, CR G1 security. So all of the cable tray runs back to that point. So all of these items would come across to here. That's our main security alarm panel, so that's perfect. And we've got our door controllers, which is great. And if we're using integrity, then we would have 16 zones available on that one security panel. So we come down and look at the zones that we've got down here. I believe it's only one. Okay, so we do have some read switches. Just need to double check. Look like they're connected to doors. So if they're connected to doors, obviously part of the door controllers, so we won't have to put in the expander. And the fact there's only 3 on this floor, got rid of the 8-zone expander. Then we would have an NVR to suit the camera quantities. So in this case, we would probably go with 128 and put it in the rack. And to capture the rest of the cameras, 67. 9 and 3 and 1 and 1, so 2, 5, 14, 1, 8, 1. So is it recorders? I'll put a monitor here just based on the fact that I believe we need to put a workstation in with a monitor. The rack is not on us. PoE switches. I believe that we're capturing each camera level by itself. So on this level, we've got 16, 19, 20. So the 24 PoE is perfect. So that's how I would build this area. Intercom control panel. So with the intercom, if we're using IP intercoms, then we don't actually need a control panel. We just need PoE switches. But I'll leave it there just for the time being, just to not confuse things. But that is typically how I would set up the base or the main head ends of this one. So that's down in the main comms room. And then we just work our way up. You've got no head end on this floor, so that's fine. Electric striking double doors, make sure you put a transfer. Same thing over here. Everything else looks good. Alright, door controller don't expander port, PoE switch, level 1, level 2. Okay, don't need comms rack. If we don't need a monitor, don't need a recorder. So cameras are across these levels. If you've got that many cameras, 48 port. So if we don't need to put in multiple PoE switches, just put in the one. Don't need a security controller. And the 8-zone expander, I believe, up here was for the PIRs, which don't exist anymore. So the expander can go as well. So if that doesn't make sense, let me know and I'll explain it to you. But yeah, we're not. So that's this floor. Next floor, do you have head end? Nope. And I'm assuming this is across multiple floors. Yep, 3 to 7. That's fine. Okay, once again, no rack. PoE is fine. No monitor, no recorder. With 2 48 ports, if that's what we need to go with. No additional security panel, no expander required. 24 expander. What are we controlling up here, guys? That's so no requirement for door controller or anything here. It's just the PoE switches. And this floor, it's fine. And this is the one I edited first. So I hope that makes sense, the way that I've done that, but just to recap. So we only have one main comms room or head end location. We only then put in a one main security panel, which is here. Obviously the door controller is local to it, one intercom panel, PoE switches that are relating to that, and then the recorders are down in this space too, and then PoE switches to support it, and a monitor if it's required. Hope that all makes sense. If not, obviously, yeah, as always, just ask or reach out, and I'll happily assist.